All right, folks, this video going to replace the Intel stock cooler on the i5-13400f. And, this thing was okay, to be honest with you, but I don't like my temps, in the 60s and 70s. So we're going to replace this, hopefully getting it to be in the 50s while gaming. So to take this off, one could use a flathead screwdriver, or if you have enough finger strength. Usually I do. Maybe not today. Okay, maybe we'll have to use the flathead. And did we grab the right flathead is the other question. All right, so we are rotating as shown. Yeah, it's funny. I did do a video on here where I removed these with my hand. And sometimes you'll find they're harder to get undone. So it's good to have that flathead. That one doesn't want to pop up. And looks like I might need it for this one as well. Guess I'm getting older, folks, There we go. All right. So that's out of here. And that was the thermal paste that was pre-applied. So you can see, doesn't obviously cover the whole face of this, didn't cover the whole CPU. Of course, it does cover the hottest spots on the CPU, but we want to do better than that, right? So I'm going to clean this up, and then we will start our installation. All right, so cleaned up. Now you'll need one of these LGA 1700 backing plates in case you're buying the Vetroo V5 used. You may, find you have an issue there. And the other aspect is if you have the version that has the tape on it and you think you're going to use the CPU cooler for a long time, go ahead and remove the tape and put that on there so it stays in there. Now, orientation wise, we want to go this way. I'm going to go ahead and put my M.2 in. All right, so reason I'm putting my M.2 in now, just in case it's difficult to do later. So you guys, if you're going to put the M.2 in, you would want to remove this tape. I'm going to leave mine basically looking, brand new when I go to resell this in about a month. That assumes I don't, actually fall in love with this thing and go, you know what, I want to keep this. That's part of the thing here, folks. I can't hold on to everything. We don't have a ton of money on this channel. And this should be a number 1 Phillips. Number 2 is not going to work. At least the number 2s I have here. So we put that in there. And interesting enough, it looks like yours truly screwed up. What a surprise. So when you put this back in, it has to slip back into the M.2, we'll call it frame. I don't know what it's exactly called, but once you do that, if you can get in there, so I've bought a lot of motherboards. This one is a bit different for me from that aspect. I had the B660M version of this, and I don't honestly believe I ever put the M.2 in that spot. this is the ideal spot for Gen 4 for your operating system, right? To keep it cool. I honestly, for the sake of these videos, making life easier, usually put them in there. All right. Now, we have our backing plate in. Okay. What do we need? Thermal paste, right? Unless you're doing an install, new install. I don't believe the Vetroo V5 came with pre-installed paste, so you've got to put thermal paste on. All right, so we're actually going to use the Vetroo paste. Usually I use M.2, but in this case, let's use theirs. Nice big dab in the middle. Sometimes I'll do 3 lines, 5 dots, whatever. I think 3 lines probably works the best, but all right. So we're just going to drop this down on top of it, lining it up with the threaded posts that are inside the hole of the motherboard, right? And then what we want to do is try and get a couple of threads on one of these and then work your way around. If you happen to accidentally not get one in, you will notice that the temperatures will be a lot hotter than they should be. All right. So at this point, I just kind of can feel that they're all they all have a few threads in them. I'm trying not to get my hand completely in the way. Oop, you don't want to do that, folks. I actually wish I had my Phillips somewhat attached to my hand somehow. Alright, so now we can start cranking. You don't want to ever overdo one or tighten it all the way down while the other 3 are not tight. And if I remember correctly, these are pretty fine threads, so it's going to take quite a while of doing this until you've actually got this to bottom out. You might even, feel like you're getting a forearm workout. All right, so that one is actually in nice and tight. That one's good. And of course, if you keep doing this and it never gets tight, then that means, guess what? You didn't line the screw up. And don't forget, these adjust basically in this direction, right? So you can get that to, you will get it to line up. All right. So now looking at your fan, folks, this is the intake side, exhaust side. All right. Usually they make the intake side look better, and in this case they did. We want all these cables to be on the right side. This does have ARGB connector here, along with a 4-pin PWM. So we will do that at the end. So I want the cords on this side to the right, and you're going to come in here, pop that into both holes, hopefully. So if I ever had one complaint for Vetroo, it would be to make these a little deeper, this end, make life a little bit easier. Maybe not getting them out, right? But doing the installation is definitely a little easier. And then voila. All right, that's in now. So 4-pin. Now you could run this without the ARGB hooked up if you don't want to look at the lights. 4-pin in there, Just be careful. I've done that enough times, but you could bend it if you're not careful. And then this guy, so you could hook up additional ARGB through this one. So we have RGB, ARGB here. We just have to make sure we line this up right. There's one missing pin, right? And that has to line up perfectly. You want to come in 90 degrees. And do not bend the pins. So just, take your time, and then it'll just go in real easy like that. All right. Now you'll notice this is kind of on the test bench, so we've got a little power switch in here that we're using. That's hooked up on the front panel connectors here, second row, third and fourth pins. Other than that, folks, I have a lot of CPU coolers, right? If you've seen the channel, you know that. And I'll be honest with you, the reason I'm using the Vetroo V5 is not because it's the best one. For something like this CPU, this would be, pretty decent selection, right? Is it the cheapest one out there? No, it is not. Is it the best one out there? No, it is not. But for the money, it's not bad. We should see potentially 10-degree difference in temperature. What would make this better? Maybe a second fan. Maybe running the fan higher if you needed to. Maybe a higher RPM fan. Different things like that. Better thermal paste than I used may also help. So I also will say this has been my most popular CPU cooler on the channel. It has also made me the most money, and because of that, hey, why not roll the dice and see if we can make a little bit more on it, right? Yeah, actually this was supplied by Vetroo, and thanks to them, it's been successful on the channel. But please like, please subscribe. Thank you.